Oh, this is for my informative presentation on turbos or superchargers, which is better. This is my group of people today here in this camper. So we'll just go ahead and get started. What's the difference? Today, I will attempt to answer the age-old question of which form of forced induction is more efficient and can provide far better power for an internal combustion engine. To recap, a turbocharger uses exhaust waste pressure to spin up a turbine that compresses intake air and forces it into the engine, which allows for more fuel to be used and therefore more power to be increased, of making the engine more efficient and more powerful. The supercharger follows a similar principle, although instead of acting off of waste, it is belt driven directly connected to the serpentine assembly, which allows for instant boost and therefore instant power response, while turbochargers suffer from a lag due to there being a needed specific exhaust pressure to spool up turbines efficiently. There's a small infographic on the difference. Where turbos succeed and superchargers fail. Turbos come in many different sizes and aren't limited to space as much as superchargers are. This allows for more PSI to be generated by larger turbos, which can significantly increase engine horsepower. Another place where turbos shine is in the higher speed and RPM range, since they feed off of the exhaust pressure, and the more there is, the more potential energy is transferred to the turbo, keeping the turbines at full boost during high RPM applications. A supercharger tends to fall off with the natural power band of the engine. So, Mobile One engineers explain that turbochargers have several advantages. Those advantages come with challenges: higher temperatures, higher RPMs, and greater compression. And the way that these overcome these challenges is just by their simple and small design. Like I mentioned in here, the thing they do better is temperature management. They're water, they're air cooled, and they're oil cooled. They superchargers tend to have a heat soaking issue where too much hot air gets trapped in the intake, and therefore it kills the efficiency and the power of the engine. Why do people still choose a supercharger? A supercharger still has a place and a decent fighting power in the world of performance. No longer an economical standpoint. Nobody puts superchargers on regular cars anymore, but almost every new car comes out that has an engine has a turbocharger. Superchargers do have that belt-driven system, which allows the throttle response to be almost perfectly paired with the adding of the boost from the supercharger. The writers of Haggerty say because superchargers do depend on the running of the engine to operate, though, it's less efficient process than a turbocharger. You lose power by turning those big blades in the supercharger. So why lose power to add more power when you can use the waste of the engine to add more power? I think a turbo is more efficient in that way. But it also is the preferred choice for top fuel dragsters. In the modern day, you don't see top fuel dragsters. These cars that do 220 miles down the track, they don't use turbochargers. They use superchargers. But the reason that is because turbochargers were too good. There was a time around late 80s when people started fitting turbocharger systems to top fuel dragsters, and people were dying too much. They were too fast, not easily controllable like a supercharger is, but still dominated the scene when they were available. Conclusion: turbochargers and superchargers have been amongst the largest debate in automotive industry between mechanics and engineers alike. People will never agree which one is exclusively better than the other, but with the evidence that I brought forth today, I think it's safe to say that turbos are the overall better option for engine efficiency and making big power in drag racing applications. The lag can be made up for by having a better top-end efficiency that superchargers simply cannot recreate. Hopefully this presentation was able to sway you towards the favor of turbos, and I hope that I was able to educate you on what makes them so similar yet so different. In this picture, this is a turbocharged top fuel dragster. They never were able to get it. At the time, tire technology was not as good as it is today. They were never able to get it to its full top speed, but in the one pictured, it was believed that this vehicle would do 360 miles an hour down the track. So it was pretty awesome, pretty monster. So, all right, we're excited. Thank you guys. I figured out if I could turn this off.
Wait, I have a question.
What's your question?
Are there any cars with them in there?
With superchargers?
Yeah.
So there
Or is
are
it illegal?
no, it's completely legal. There are vehicles that use superchargers. One that comes to mind would be the Dodge Challenger Hellcat.
Oh, so it's not like
It's
not common.
no, it's a purely performance application based addition to engines nowadays. Well, as someone who worked at Ford, we actually have an option for our F-150 Os. V8s, you can bring your Ford, your F-150 in. You buy a performance package from Ford, and it's a supercharger. You can buy a Whipple from Ford, and we install it at the dealership.
So people are only getting those
They
if
only-
want to go really fast.
Yeah, they only get them if they want to go faster. I appreciate the question. That's a good question. Well, all right. Thank you guys for coming to my presentation. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.